Hey, what up, what up, what up? This is Chris Asbrock of The Chris Asbrock Show and FeelTheImpactSports.com, Impact Sports Cincinnati. Obviously, it is a Bengals bye week this week, but I wanted to kind of break down, grades for the midseason so far, because right now the Bengals are at the halfway point exactly of the season. They are currently second in the AFC North with a 5-3 record going into it. So going into the next week here against the New Orleans Saints, Sunday, November 11th at 1 p.m. at Paul Brown Stadium. But again, 5-3. It's quite an interesting. It's been an interesting first half of the season so far for the Bengals. They win they go out and knock off the Indianapolis Colts in week 1, win week 2 against the Baltimore Ravens. Week 3, they lose to Carolina in a game that none of us really saw them losing. Then they go on the road and knock off the Atlanta Falcons in a major surprise. So that was quite the interesting turn of events. Then they come back in week 5 and knock off the Miami Dolphins in a game that, it was pretty interesting to see exactly how they were going to play. And, they continued on, and, at that point they're 4-1. Then you've got in week 6, then you've got our big game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we once again lose that game to the Steelers, and what seems to be a broken record when it comes to the Bengals-Steelers series. It's just, we just can't seem to get over that hurdle. And then you follow it up with a game on the road, national TV, Sunday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who, at that point are flying high, and they completely drum us. It was 45-10 in a game that wasn't close. So therefore, we're 4-3. Bringing last week 8, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a game that was crucial for the Bengals to go into this week, being the bye week, on a high note. And like I said, that's where we are. We're at 5-3 right now, going into it. Normally, when I do a breakdown, a pregame breakdown, which has been, which has been pretty tough. If you've seen, I haven't been able to really get much out there. Adulting isn't fun, and that's unfortunately what I've had to do recently. So that's why the content hasn't been quite up there. But at least I'm able to do a video to get it going. But so this year it's been, like I said, it's been pretty crazy. So my first grade is going to be for the Bengals offense, and I'm going to give them honestly an A-. I think the Bengals offense has been. I think they've been simply fantastic so far. Maybe not simply fantastic in terms of the fighting through the injuries and what they've been able to deal with that way. Andy Dalton so far is throwing for 2,102 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. 4 of those interceptions in one game, again the Carolina game, where he was, the whole team pretty much struggled. So that's kind of where that was with, in terms of the interception total for Dalton. But overall, he's been sacked 16 times for 129 yards lost. The offensive line we knew wasn't going to be very good, and it's come to fruition that way that the offensive line has they've plain and simple, they've struggled so far, but not to the point to where it's been crippling for this team. Andy Dalton's been playing fantastic football so far. Again, he's completed over 63% of his passes for those 17 touchdowns and just the 8 interceptions. He's got a quarterback rating of 92.9. Again, a lot of that was dropped from his performance against the Carolina Panthers, that one in week 3, where it was brutal all around. Joe Mixon, once again, is obviously he's our main guy running back, and I truly think, like I've said numerous times, I think he's one of the best running backs in the league. He's averaging 4.8 yards per attempt. He's rushed it 105 times for 509 yards. His longest run was a 43-yard run. He does have 4 touchdowns. He did miss a couple games due to injury, which is obviously not what we had hoped for as Bengals fans come into this season. So Giovanni Bernard has stepped up. He's rushed it for 34 times for 155 yards. That's 4.6 a carry as well. His longest rush was 23, but he does have 3 touchdowns as well. Those two have accounted for the only touchdowns on the ground for the Bengals this year. Mark Walton's chipped in a little bit. He's had 13 rushes for 24 yards on a very, very, very limited basis. You've seen rushes by obviously Dalton, Tyler Boyd, Alex Erickson, and John Ross on the one play. But other than that, it's been pretty low key on the ground. But when Mixon plays, he's a total game changer, and that's what we've seen so far. Receiving game, it's been Tyler Boyd, AJ Green, and Joe Mixon. CJ Uzomah stepped up and made had a couple big games. AJ Green is going to continue to be one of the best receivers in the league. AJ Green is a superstar receiver. Tyler Boyd is, he has 49 receptions for 620 yards. That's 12.7 yards a reception. His longest was 49. He does have 5 touchdowns, through the air. AJ Green, 45 receptions for 687 yards. That's a 15.3 average there. His longest being 38, and he has hauled in 6 touchdowns. Joe Mixon's hauled in 1. CJ Uzomah with 2, and then Tyler Eifert with 1. John Ross, he has been hurt. He's 7 receptions this year, only 79 yards receiving, 39 of those on one play. That was in the Atlanta game where he did haul in a touchdown reception for that and ended up hurting his groin. So that's kind of where we are right now. Offensively, again, I'm going to give the Bengals right now I'm going to give them an A-. I think they've done very well for they've done a great job with the cards that they've been dealt, plain and simple, and I think that they deserve to I think they deserve, a lot of credit for that. Defensively, I'm going to say a solid D. I think the defense is what we thought was going to be the strong point is not, it just hasn't been that, and it's been pretty rough, for us this year. They've struggled. Again, a lot of injuries have taken place. Just like we saw on the offense, the defense is the exact same. And unfortunately, it's, like I said, it's come back and it's bit us a few times. Jesse Bates, the rookie safety, he's played fantastic. He's great as one of the top safeties in the league so far by Pro Football Focus. And he's played like it. Despite being a rookie, he's done a great job. And, he's got 60 combined tackles. He's got 19 assists and then 41 solo. Nick Vigil, who's now hurt, he's consistently one of the top tacklers for this team. Sean Williams, Jordan Evans, Darquez Denard, who's hurt, Preston Brown, Dre, Carlos. Carlos Dunlap already has 7 sacks on the year. That's pretty, it's pretty impressive. The Bengals have 21 sacks overall this season, and despite giving up the 16, so that's a +5 ratio. There. Sam Hubbard has played simply fantastic. He's been a bright spot for this team so far. The rookie. The rookies have stepped up. Jesse Bates and Sam Hubbard have been, 2 fantastic players along, like I said, with Carlos Dunlap, who has played, he's played great. Geno Atkins, 6 sacks, and Geno is obviously, he's one of the top defensive players in the NFL as well, and he's always going to continue to be that. And it's just been one of those. It's been one of those years we've seen, we've seen the ups and the downs, and defensively we thought it was going to be a lot more ups than downs, and unfortunately, hasn't quite been the case. The Bengals this year only have, defensively, they have 6 fumble recoveries, which is huge, and only 2 interceptions, which is something that we thought would not be, would be different. Personally, I thought I was going to see a lot more interceptions than what we've seen so far. But, no, I apologize. Let me rephrase that. That's 2 touchdowns. So it's 2 pick sixes we have. We have 10 total interceptions. I was reading that completely wrong, so that one's on me. But I was going to say Sean Williams, 3 interceptions, Jesse Bates with 3, Preston Brown's had 2, and Michael Johnson and Jordan Evans each with 1. Sean Williams, again, he continues to, like I said, he continues to play well along with Jesse Bates, the rookie. He had the pick 6 against Jameis Winston last week, and what was a huge game for the defense to step up and pick off Jameis Winston 4 times. Preston Brown, like I said, he's got 2. Michael Johnson with the other pick 6. That was in the Dolphins game, to where they came up huge in that game. Same with, that's when the defense, made a couple huge plays in terms of Sam Hubbard getting the fumble recovery for a touchdown as well. But, so far it's, we're out, our turnover margin's +5, 16 turnovers compared to us giving up 11, 8 picks and 3 fumbles. So, it's been interesting, despite the plus turnover ratio. I think the defense, has cost us a few times, especially in the Pittsburgh game, to where they didn't look very good, obviously in that last drive. So it's, tough sledding, for the Bengals there. It continues to be a tough, a tough go for the Bengals in terms defensively here, and it with the injuries and giving up the amount of yards through the air, it's not going to be pretty watching Drew Brees come in here and completely dominate the Bengals, next Sunday, which is I truly think is unfortunately going to happen for us. Special teams, I'm going to give them a B-. I think, I would give them an A, simply because of what we've seen so far. There have been 3 glaring problems that I've seen. The punt return for a touchdown against the Dolphins, that was one. So that wasn't real pretty. And then we had the block punt against the Colts. Or was it the Colts? No, the Falcons. I'm sorry. All these are running together. We had the block punt against the Falcons, and then the blocked field goal that we had. So it's just, things have been a little tough this year. Like I said, it's been pretty tough sledding for us. But Randy Bull continues to play very well, kicking the ball great so far this first half. Kevin Huber continues to be one of the top punters in the league, and I will continue to say he's probably the best punter in the league. He can flip the field position, incredibly well, and so that's what I'm going to say about special teams. I think that the B+ rating I think is fair enough. Coaching, I'm going to go with an F. I think it's Marvin Lewis. Surprisingly, he continues to. And I'm going to be the first one to admit I've backed Marvin Lewis numerous times, and I will continue to back him up, for the most part. But this organization continues to make me shake my head sometimes, especially Marvin Lewis and his mentality. If you watched my post game video from the Steelers game, I went off on a little bit of a tangent about how they approach Steelers week, and as it's just another game, and it's not just another game. And I'm not going to get off on that tangent again. It's beating a dead horse right there. But this has been something that's, I was all for bringing Marvin Lewis back if they continued on that upward trajectory and bringing in new coaches and everything like that, which they've done. However, it feels like Terrell Austin has been Bengalized with a couple of his responses about like the stats don't matter, only the wins and losses do, which is correct. I will give him that. But it's the tone and just that smug, the smugness that apparently it's worn off from Marvin Lewis, and it's and just some of the way that Marvin's handled some of the situations in regards to some of the coaching decisions and things like that. That it's not one of Marvin's best years. So it's been it's been interesting so far, like I said, this season. But, we're 5-3. I don't know how the hell we're 5-3. Again, with the offense playing like they have, if we can just have the defense step up a little bit, I think this team, team's in great shape. Unfortunately, it's they didn't step up in some instances, and it's almost cost us another game or two. But 5-3 again, second place in the AFC North. I'll take it as we head into the second half of the season, beginning next week against the New Orleans Saints, who right now are currently up on the LA Rams. It's going to be tough sledding for this Cincinnati Bengals team, especially now with the news that AJ Green is supposed to meet with Dr. Andrews, foot specialist, in regards to his injury that was suffered last week. Now, this is where I'm going to be a little ticked off, and I'm slightly upset at how this has played out, because there's no reason the Bengals should not have made a move during the trade deadline. I know this team does not trade players, draft picks, anything like that. This is where you have to make a move to make this team better. And this team simply did not do that. AJ Green, there's a good chance he might miss the rest of the season. They're talking, he's going to meet with the doctor, the specialist on his foot. Surgery is a realistic possibility in this case, and then there's a really good chance he misses the rest of the year. With that being the case, why in the hell did we not go out and make a deal, at least multiple deals, to bring in talent, whether it was, via trade and like trading draft picks for either a tight end or going out on the free agent market and bringing in a wide receiver. Des Bryant's out there. Brandon Marshall's out there. There's numerous guys that we could bring in. With the absence now of AJ Green, there's no excuse for this organization to not go out there and make this team better. I do not want to see Cody Core playing again the rest of this year. With AJ Green out, I don't want to see it. I want to see Auden Tate out there. If Cody Core is going to be out there, that's fine. But with the absence of AJ Green, we have to have another top receiver out there, because Tyler Boyd, as great as he is, AJ Green, like I said, is a superstar wide receiver. There's only a handful of superstar wide receivers in this league. Now, like I said, Tyler Boyd is a number one receiver in my eyes. Tyler Boyd can start on any team in the NFL. I truly believe that. He's now going to get the AJ Green treatment, to where he's going to be double teamed, I believe, a lot, or have the best wide receiver, or the best corner covering him at all times. Which, it's a put up or shut up, situation now for Tyler Boyd, which I know he can step up. However, you have to have the other weapons on the field that can help you in situations like this, and that's where it is crucial that this team makes that happen. Plain and simple, you have to go out and acquire a wide receiver to help you. This should have happened last week, to where they could have been somewhat familiar with the playbook this weekend, and then moving forward and preparing for the New Orleans Saints next week. I don't understand why this team refuses to do this. Or not this team, but this organization refuses to do that. They handle draft picks like they're gold. I understand that. We do a solid job of bringing in talent via the draft. However, you have to bring in talent when you can. And if you have to deal a 4th or 5th round pick for a solid tight end, then so be it. You do it. I've heard Mo Egger say it numerous times, and I've heard, and actually it might not have been Mo Egger, I could be wrong, but I've heard, I know Casey Stern on Sirius XM has said it numerous times that, draft picks are great, but parades are greater. And, with that being the case, trade those draft picks, bring in guys that are going to help you right now in this situation. This offense is solid. Get more weapons for Andy Dalton, because the ones that we have are dropping like flies. You have to make a move and get things done to bring in solid talent offensively with the amount of injuries we have. That's all we have to do. Then you go from there and hope your defense can shore up, and tighten up and play better. That's what you have to do. Now it's up to this organization and Katie Blackburn to make it happen. That's what you have to do moving forward into the second half of this season. If nothing is done, it could be a very, very, very long second half of this NFL football season in the city of Cincinnati. So the move has to be made. So, the ball's in your court, Katie. Make it happen. So that's all I have right now. I didn't want to get something out here for the midseason grades for the Cincinnati Bengals. As always, follow me on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock, and make sure you check me out. This video will be going to YouTube. Make sure you check out my page there. And I believe that's pretty much it. Make sure you go to feeltheimpactsports.com for everything else. And again, your support's much appreciated. I truly enjoy it. So thank you guys very much. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your weekend, and take care. Have a good one.